Hey there. Thanks for stopping by to join me for another episode of Blind Buys. I always really appreciate you taking the time to stop by and watch me as I ramble through this journey. Today's pick was requested, suggested. It was part of the poll, the most recent poll, even though it's not all that recent anymore. It was the third place on that poll, following Cedrat Boise and Profondo Lights. This was suggested by Jungle Hunter, and although it was a suggested fragrance, this is also one that I've wanted to open personally for quite some time now. Just the name, the gradient, just the overall aesthetic of the fragrance has always really stood out to me, and I've always really wanted to open this one. So there's no better time than now. Unfortunately, I don't know how long this one will take for me to wrap up. It doesn't really matter to you guys because it's just the other side of the waterfall and it doesn't actually take any extra time for you. But it may take me a little extra time to get the video out for this one. It's just what happens. I've got some extra work to do on the side, and it's just not really going to be too conducive wearing fragrances. I'm going to be out camping, not really showering. There's really no point in spraying fragrance over top of body odor. So if I do happen to chance upon a nice hot shower, I will spray myself, and people will probably be wondering why I smell like that where I do. But screw 'em. But you guys saw the title, so you know what we're opening. This is Valentino's Born in Roma Coral Fantasy. And I have to admit, I did do a little cheating. When I brought up the Fragrantica page, I saw the main accords, and it had me, well, maybe a little worried. This is aromatic, warm, spicy, and then tobacco on the top. Well, not on the top, but right out the gate as one of the main accords. I don't know how well tobacco is going to hold up in this late August weather, although it is slightly cooler out, so maybe it won't be too out of place. Perhaps the tobacco won't be too strong and pungent. We're just going to have to see. And definitely tobacco, I don't believe, will work with disgusting body odor on top of it. So easy out the bottom. We got like a 2/3 jacket kind of thing going on, and it is facing the correct orientation. The label's on the front, and so you got to give them bonus points for making sure their bottles go in the correct orientation. Also, I did cheat a little bit. I read some of the ingredients on this very hard to read back. If you've ever read the ingredients on this Valentino box, they're like 3 shades away from black. It's very hard to read, or maybe I'm just getting old, one of the two. But one of the top notes after alcohol, water, and proprietary fragrance is coumarin. So I actually do have some high hopes that this will be just a big Tonka bomb, and it'll work out as perhaps a mall scent. You can sort of smell it through the atomizer, through the cap, but not too pungent. Whereas the atomizer, it's facing basically the right way. The spring probably traveled in transit. So give them bonus points for presentation. I always like that. Nothing on the second. Third shot's got a little squirt onto it. And 4 for the fully. How stinky do I want to be today? I don't want to offend anybody, but... okay. Alright, that one went up my nose a little bit, and there's a lot of Tonka in this, so... yeah, oh man, headshot. Oh, worst. Oh no. That went right on my cheek. Not the best shot ever. So this is actually very nice so far. I really like this. Main Accords, while we're waiting for this to waft out. Ooh, this is nice. This reminds me, of course, of Yellow Dream, which I opened for, well, geez, it was back in the winter now, so it's probably been a good 6 or 7 months. It reminds me of that. It definitely follows that same vein. It must be the Born in Roma base fragrance. It's very nice. Wow. So main accords, we've got aromatic, warm, spicy, tobacco, fresh, spicy, fruity, sweet, woody, patchouli, lavender, and citrus. So far, I would say not very tobacco-y, but that may be somewhere in the dry down. Fruity and sweet, bump that way up. This is fruity and sweet, very pleasant. Lots of tonka in there, as expected, being so high on the ingredients list, coumarin being so high. This is nice. Yeah, this is a really pleasant fragrance. I did cheat. I did look at the notes. There's green apple, cardamom. Let's not guess. And actually, oh, I was wrong. Not green apple. So on the top we have red apple, cardamom, and Calabrian bergamot. In the middle, lavender, bourbon geranium, and clary sage. And in the base, tobacco, patchouli, and Haitian vetiver, which all comes together and makes a very pleasant fragrance. The cardamom coming out quite, not quite a bit, but it's slightly spicy, herbaceous from the rose, from the clary sage and the lavender. Not too floral. The geranium isn't really floral in that aspect, more of a soapy geranium. I'm a little curious about the tobacco, how that's going to work out. I hope the patchouli is nice and dark and woody, but not too pervasive, not like Wook patchouli. But overall, this is perhaps a bit different than I had imagined once I read the tobacco on that. One of the bottles I have in my stash somewhere must be leaking out a little tobacco juice. So in my bedroom area, there's that tobacco note, and I'm not too stoked on it. But this is not pervasive or annoying or anything like that. This is nice. I'm going to wear this when I can, and, you know, back into it next week. Going back to my payroll job, I'll, of course, be wearing it. So this will be really nice, just tooling around, doing my normal job when I'm fresh and clean. I like this. I really do so far. It's close to Yellow Dream without being Yellow Dream. The ginger and the sweeter notes, the gingerbread in that, not here. This is, although Yellow Dream, I think I stated was pretty good for winter. This I don't think would be too wintry. This would probably be spring, summer, fall, not so much winter. But we'll see how that tobacco plays out, and we'll see how this fragrance plays out. And I'll let you know how it all goes on the other side of the waterfall. Okay, folks, I've been wearing Valentino's Born in Roma Coral Fantasy for just about 2 weeks now, which is, let's face it, a little bit excessive. I really didn't mean to go this long on this fragrance, but sometimes life gets in the way, and I just wear what I am reviewing for the entire time, no matter whether I'm wearing something inappropriate or something that's really good for the season. I just keep wearing it and just keep lengthening the experience that I have with it. So I've got about 2 weeks with this. It really may be not super standout-ish, but we'll get into that. As far as perfumers, I'm going to completely butcher these two names. They are very French. Nicolas Beaulieu and Jean-Christophe Hérault. Yeah, you can make fun of me for how bad my pronunciation is. They're both fairly notable perfumers. I'm pretty sure Jean-Christophe has his name on Creed's Aventus, which everybody's heard about by now. And they both have their names on some Viktor and Rolf Spice Bombs and some other decently notable fragrances, but none that really come to mind. Some Coaches and just nothing crazy standout-ish like Creed's Aventus. In terms of batch code on this Coral Fantasy, I've got 38W701V, which gives us a born-on date of July 2022. So this bottle's about a year old, although I really didn't think it smelled off or anything like that. A year seems to be just fine in terms of storage time, opening them up, and getting a full experience with these fragrances. I got both of these off of Dillard's at the same time for $100 plus tax, New York State tax. It was like $16, $16.50 total. So about $108 total. We're just going to use the subtotal, $100 a piece. They are 3.4 ounce bottles, which gives us a $29.41 price per ounce. It's getting up there towards the retail side of things, but you can sort of smell that the quality is there. It's designer. It kind of fits in with that $30 an ounce range. It's not pungent. It's not sharp. It's not annoying. It's nothing like that. It fits in with that $30 an ounce range. I checked right before shooting this video to see if I could find Coral Fantasy on FragranceNet, and that's a very similar, by the way, not a sponsor, I'm giving them this one for free, very similar price, $102 per bottle per 100 ml, free shipping after using the code, 30% off and all that other blah blah blah. So I got a decent deal at Dillard's. FragranceNet's similar. You're not really gonna find, well, I'd strike that. You may find a better deal, but around $100 a bottle is fair. In terms of projection, this isn't super crazy strong, at least not that I felt, not that in my experience in the time that I wore it. I wore it and actually the length of wearing it really gave me some colder days and some really hot days. It's getting very hot here in New York. It's going to taper back off, thank the Lord. But even on those super hot days, it didn't project too hard. I don't think I was stinking up the area too badly, but I could smell myself at times. It was perhaps maybe not correct for the summer. Once again, we'll get into that. Longevity, I was getting 8 to 9 hours. It's like a work day. You'll get a solid work day out of this, or an even, definitely a full evening. 8 to 9 hours. That's pretty good. That's kind of what I would expect out of anything designer. If it's really not doing that kind of work, then it's just not worth your time. I think this is probably better suited not for these super hot days. I think I said, and I'm pretty sure I messed up by saying that Yellow Dream is good for the winter time. By comparison, not at all. This is more of the wintertime offering. Yellow Dream does have a nice gingery kind of winter Christmassy sort of vibe to it, but it's not dark and slightly heavy like Coral Fantasy is. Coral Fantasy would be great for late summer, fall, getting into winter and spring. Yellow Dream I would actually now wear during the summer. We may have to abridge that review at some point. That'll be down the road. We've still got a lot to go through. This is probably heavier on spices and cardamom than I would have really thought with a name like Coral Fantasy. With a name like Coral Fantasy, I think aqua, sea vibes. I didn't really get cardamom or any sort of aromatic spiciness, fresh spiciness, warm spiciness in my mind. That's not what comes to mind when I hear Coral Fantasy. So maybe a slight misnomer, however you want to say that. You know, maybe the name is a little off. Pondering more on it, the bottle really actually does kind of give you a better idea. It's darker, going into that brownish, pinkish gradient, the tobacco leaf and the spices. It's really more about what this comes out as. Overall, I thought it was good. I would like to wear this more in the future, in the fall, and really kind of see where this fits in the best. Same with Yellow Dream. I really like these Valentinos. I have Valentino Aqua, Uomo Aqua, and Uomo Intense. Really wonderful, wonderful products from the house of Valentino. And I would say that, well, maybe not a like completely safe blind buy. This one, you might want to jog on down to the store. Maybe walk, don't run. It's not super important, and it shouldn't be at the top of your list. But it might be worth getting your nozzle holes onto it, and you know, giving it a sniff. Maybe you'll like it. Maybe you'll find some sort of use for it in the cooler months, like I expect to. But that being said, you guys, find something that's as unique as you are. Wear it unabashedly. And until I see you, talk to you, or anything else, take it easy, you guys.